What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages, Joker back again once again, and today people, we're going to talk about the newest set of Trials of Osiris changes, I know already, and how some are good, some are bad, and how you can exploit the bad ones. Upcoming changes to Trials of Osiris. Tomorrow, today, or tomorrow, whenever this goes out, there will be a few changes going live for the second week of Trials of Osiris. We aren't satisfied with the matchmaking experience for players after 7 wins. That arena of matchmaking has a significantly higher rate of 5-0 games than we would like, so we are enabling a flawless matchmaking pool. However, we want to make sure that there is enough flawless players to maintain good matchmaking times, so we are waiting until Friday afternoon to turn this on. And we will be watching player reactions and matchmaking analytics all weekend to make sure it is behaving properly. We are also not happy with the experience of players who have bad streaks of getting repeatedly thrashed 5-0, so we are enabling some matchmaking help. If somebody runs into several blowout matches, this temporary help mechanic clears up once they start winning again. So don't think somebody will cheese a flawless by tanking a few games and then have a weekend of smooth sailing. Lastly, we are enabling the quitter penalties that we use in the Glory playlist, giving you a 30-minute timeout if you quit out of too many games. We're going to be watching this and have some harsher plans if players continue to abandon their fire teams. Next week, in addition to our first Trials Labs, spoiler alert, it is Capture Zone Trials, we will be disabling special ammo replenishment on revive. You still get special ammo if you kill someone, or when you start the next round. We are also disabling the matchmaking counter on the Trials of Osiris lobby. So you won't be able to tell how many players have joined, but will still be told when they join. We also fixed an issue preventing you from being able to masterwork weapons from Saint 14's ranked rewards. So, let's start off with the good. A quitter penalty? 150% amazing! It's a great change. Quitting a game with Trials of Osiris ensures that the team that lost the player is at a horrific disadvantage, and quitters should be penalized. They shouldn't be penalized on the first, sometimes shit just happens. But after a couple, yeah, get the fuck out. You get a timeout. Maybe cool down from all your rage quitting. Get some water, take a walk, get some food, you know? Sometimes being stressed and playing video games causes people to get upset. So you should just, take a breather. Capture the Zone Trials of Osiris sounds super interesting. I've always said that Destiny maps are built for control and tend to play better with objective game types than they do Slayer game types. All the Destiny maps tend to have really bad map flow without an objective, and this is because once you're in a power position, you really have no reason to leave that power position. So I'm super interested to see how that plays. Also, brilliant move on Bungie's part for disabling the matchmaking counter in Trials of Osiris. This will ensure that people are not backing out of matches if they queue against a full team. Trying to cheese the system so that they queue against duos and solos? No, now you play what you play. If it's a duo and a solo, cool. If it's a 3-stack, cool. You don't know until you know. Then we have loss protection for people who are getting 5-0'd. Trials is supposed to have skill-based matchmaking. I mean, I don't hate it, but this is going to be a problem with the flawless matchmaking that we're about to talk about. Trials is supposed to have card-based and skill-based matchmaking, so your games should, theoretically, be relatively close. Now, I know people had a bunch of games that weren't like that. That's why we had all these blowouts last weekend. But shouldn't they fix the skill-based matchmaking system first, before adding a bunch of different systems to fuck with the matchmaking priorities? Just a thought. Now we come to the more controversial change. In keeping with the tone of my more positive videos as of late, I want to say I am willing to give flawless matchmaking a try. There was a bit of clarification on the way that the flawless matchmaking will work on Twitter. I really hate it when Bungie does this. This should be part of the patch notes, even if they have to update the patch notes themselves. But hey, details. Anyways, the clarification was, once you go flawless for that week, you start by trying to match other flawless folks. It may eventually resort to matching against non-flawless. It resets each weekend. So if you magically haven't ascertained it by now, I don't believe flawless matchmaking is a good idea. 2 main reasons. 1. Destiny is a game that is not on dedicated servers, or anything even remotely close to ever vaguely looking like them. So, when you start narrowing down the player population, for example, over the course of last weekend, in Trials of Osiris across both console and PC, there were 748,488 total players. 181,542 entered Trials of Osiris for the first time. 105,444 went flawless for the first time. 238,096 flawless players. Ooh boy, so if we haphazardly divide that by 2 because you have the PC ecosystem and you have the console ecosystem, you get 119,048, which makes a very flawed, but good enough for our purposes, representation of how many players potentially could be flawless in the flawless playlist. ... at reset. ... That's your best case scenario, by the way. Yeah, that's not a good thing. Because you're more realistically looking at a playlist with only a couple thousand people in it at a time. Then you add skill-based matchmaking, and now Bungie's just punishing good players with all the baggage intrinsic to peer-to-peer matchmaking because... reasons? Now, to be fair, Bungie did say that flawless matchmaking was part of a preference cascade, which means if it takes too long to find a match, it will remove that preference cascade in order to widen the matchmaking parameters. But think about it. Think about the first 100 people to go flawless. They're just gonna have to suffer with long wait times and poor matchmaking. Why? More so when Trials of Osiris supposedly has skill-based matchmaking. So shouldn't it already be matching players based on skill? I mean, it shouldn't matter if somebody's gone flawless if it's matching, a 50 with a 50 or a 30 with a 30. I mean, last weekend, there was supposedly a lot of people that went to the Lighthouse for the first time because of skill-based matchmaking. I saw people talking about that a lot. I know that there are a lot of you who are not good, not even great, not even okay, who went to the Lighthouse for the first time with a little bit of luck and determination and can-do attitude. And now you're going to be punished if you manage to do it again? With a player pool that will consist of the best of the best of the best, sir, lag, and you? Imagine being the average player, getting your very first Lighthouse last weekend, then doing it again this weekend, only to be put in a playlist with like maybe 2,000 people, all of them the best of the best, because fuck you, fuck your quality of game, fuck your connection. Johnny and his 0.02 KD needs to get his hand out. And look, I don't give two shits or a flying pig fuck about the prestige of the Lighthouse. Like I said in my last video about Trials of Osiris, the Lighthouse can prestige these nuts. What I do care about is being punished for going to the Lighthouse.
But Joker! Good players should have to suffer because I'm bad and I need win-loss protection. I need skill-based matchmaking protection. I need card passage protection. I just need my welfare Lighthouse. Why don't you understand? Why are you a good player? You'll never understand. You should have to play really shitty games all the time because I'm bad.
That's it. This isn't about elitism. And before anybody tries to go,
but Joker, you're a decent good player.
No, I'm not. Not by any stretch of the imagination. I'm king of the scrub lords. I am not amazing at PvP. Trials of Osiris is quite possibly one of my worst playlists because I'm far too aggressive and I refuse to use a lot of the meta cheese, i.e. play hunter. At this point, I say fuck it. If you're giving me a choice between the diminished quality of my experience in a playlist just so Johnny Dumbfuck and his .20 KD, who doesn't know his elbow from his asshole and goes into Trials of Osiris 20 levels under light, has the illusion of a chance that he might make it to the Lighthouse, I say fuck it. Give anybody who manages to eke out 7 wins, even if they have 3,000 losses beforehand over the course of the weekend, a free Lighthouse. Open up the fucking gates. I don't want to deal with a diminished quality in a game I legitimately enjoy playing, all because someone needs to get theirs. Fuck flawless, give Johnny his Lighthouse participation trophy, don't ruin my experience, because somebody else is bad at the game. This isn't $1 million Counter-Strike, flawless doesn't matter, any prestige that it may have had was already lost the moment it was full of cheaters and recoveries and all this other bullshit. So just 7 wins, doesn't matter how many losses, you get to go. So the flawless matchmaking system, by the way, makes Trials of Osiris extremely more exploitable. I'm sure everybody remembers when Trials of Osiris first released, and the weekend the shotgun was the 3rd tier reward. Remember when all the good players said, you know what, fuck the lighthouse, because it's not worth my time, and sat at 3 wins, farming people just starting their cards for the shotgun? Well, now Bungie has just made that a feature. If I'm in Trials of Osiris for loot, and I know going to the lighthouse will not only diminish the quality of my games, but make it harder to farm loot, why on earth would I ever go to the lighthouse? More so when I can just wait to the 11th hour, when most of the competition has been removed from the player pool and segregated into their own little matchmaking preference, and get an easy lighthouse run. And there are undoubtedly a lot of players who are punching those numbers into their calculator, making that same exact calculation, and smiling, who realize that they can lose once and play a 7-win card all weekend for focused loot. And then once they're done, go flawless. So now you have a situation where going flawless is once again pointless, and the people who the flawless protection were meant to protect are still not going to go flawless because they're still going to get farmed because people have realized it's not worth going to the lighthouse until the very last day, because Bungie is actively punishing players for doing so. And those who do go to the lighthouse are segregated from the general population and in a much smaller matchmaking pool, so bad connections, longer wait times, just worse overall games. And again, at this point, just turn off light leveling and open up the lighthouse to anyone who manages 7 wins over the course of the weekend. That's it. Like, just if you have to diminish the quality of other people's games and put a bunch of different protections in place for bad players to have a chance at going to the lighthouse, just fucking take the flawless requirement out of the game. And to be 100% clear, if the flawless matchmaking system was on a player's flawless card that got them to the lighthouse, or on the 7th game only, and your matchmaking preferences went back to normal once you reset your card or lost, fine, fair enough. Sounds great. That's not what Bungie's doing. Once you go flawless, your weekend is over. You're done. You're stuck in the flawless player pool, no matter how many wins or loses are on your current card. That just destroys the quality of the games. And that's not good for anyone. And to reiterate, to say it one more time, just in case there are people who are missing the point, I'm not being elitist here. I do not care about the prestige of the lighthouse. I don't give 2 shits or a fuck. I would rather Johnny with his 0.02 KD just have to get 7 wins and get his free lighthouse participation trophies than have the quality of my games diminished because reasons. If it's a choice between Johnny getting free loot and me having bad games, Johnny can have all the free loot he wants. I don't care, it doesn't affect me. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Remember to like, but only if you did, subscribe for more. Feel free to donate to my Patreon if you're feeling particularly generous, but above all else, stay frosty.